Ladies and gentlemen, nobody's really saying this, but it has to be said. It's time for Boosie to grow up. This is part of today's rundown. What's up, everybody? I am Doggie Diamonds. This is Doggie Diamonds TV. This is a part of today's rundown. Listen, man. How many times do we have these conversations about glorifying the streets and jail and all that? Boosie, for some reason, a guy who's dodged serious jail time, who's did serious jail time, while everybody was yelling free him, just for some reason has this fascination with the street life as well as jail and all of that. So he's been on one with Kodak Black. You know, they've been going at it for a while about snitching and PC and all this other stuff. It goes far back, but he took to X to write this long thing, and I'm gonna read some of it, and then I'm gonna come back and just give my opinion. And he went on to write, these kids who are brought up just like us in the streets are hypnotized by our music. Yes, most do end up in prison, where they are living through our words to be solid, loyal, and never check PC. We was raised in the streets and know that if you check PC, you are a BITCH for life. So they go in population and had to survive based on the code that has followed us for generations. The rappers, we are the enforcers of this code. So if we check in PC, we are the worst of the worst. We who they believe, so it's cool for them to sit in jail and have to survive while sit in the cell with your money and hide. You mean to tell me you can do all this ish living on the street, but you can't live in jail? And it's not about being hard, it's about being a man and taking accountability. Switch the narrative, then say it's okay to check in PC in your music then. Tell the youth to snitch in your music if you going. I'm not gonna read anything else. I'm not gonna read anything else because this is what I'm talking about. Hold on. Now look, one of the things that I don't understand is that Boosie is of age to know that nothing comes from jail, nothing comes from the streets, nothing comes from any of that. And I understand the music, but the music, see, it became systematic, right? And follow me on this. If some of these guys, including Boosie himself, raps about anything positive, anything uplifting, you're not gonna have a record deal. The corporations is not gonna push it. And unfortunately, the way we've been programmed, nobody wants to hear that shit, Sharif. Sad, but it's true. Now we might have a little small amount of the population that want to hear some good uplifting music, but it's not a lot for you to sustain unless you find your tribe. Boosie says some of the most ignorant shit in history. And although I get what he's trying to say, he's talking about the kids that look up to rappers and want to emulate rappers based off the music, and the rappers are supposed to uphold a code that doesn't exist, a code that got dudes in jail in the first place. And one of the things that I didn't see in this is stay out of jail. How about you don't commit crime? If you are a rapper, it means that you're gainfully employed. That means that you pay taxes. What are we talking about rapping and crime at the same time in the streets? What is this fascination with the streets from some guys? It has done nothing for us. And saying that is like beating a dead horse because we all know that by now. We've seen the end result: death, jail, snitch, or paralyzed. Nothing good comes from the streets because the streets only take, it don't give. So for you to try to down somebody because they checked in PC, you never said, how about you stay out of jail? Listen, if you stay out of jail, you don't have to check in nothing because you're not in there. If you stay out of the street, you won't go to jail. But for some reason, it's just this fascination of the street life and trying to uphold something that's really been holding us back for a long time. Like, yo, it's 2026. It was a particular time where we didn't have the information due to it not being present the way it is now. It was a particular time where we were young, youthful, not understanding and being products of our environment. Now we have all the opportunity. We have all this digital stuff we could use to get money, digital real estate, whether you want to start you a podcast, a YouTube, a gaming channel, uh, being a work for hire, helping other people, graphics. There's so many ways that you could get money and you don't have to be in the street. You don't have to be in the street. That's why, for the most part, you don't really see a lot of people outside like that anymore, unless they want to be outside, unless they're looking for trouble or they're looking for credibility amongst a bunch of people that don't care. So this is the double-edged sword of the street. When you in the street, you the realest. When you're not in the street, you fake. When you get locked up, you stupid. So regardless, you can't please people. And if you're looking for validation in 2026 from strangers, that's like looking for the Wiz or looking for the Wizard of Oz. You following a yellow brick road only for you to realize that the Wiz, let's do the black version, does not exist. Everything that you're looking for, you already possess. You cannot get validation from people who don't know you. Because no matter what you do, if they don't know you and they don't like you, they're going to keep raising the bar. They're going to say something else. Oh, you did this, but you didn't do that. But your loved ones and people who know you, they know your capabilities. They know who you are. But one of the biggest things that you can do and show that you can do is if you come from this mentality, is that you could show that you could change. What you know now, you didn't know then. Hindsight is 2020. So when I see rappers like Boosie who have big platforms, who get on big platforms and they speak, it's like I cringe every time because what are we really talking about at this stage of the game? And people always say for the youth. But look how they talk. These guys have made it, have been successful, but they never talk to the younger generation about prevention. It's always like, well, if you're going to do it like this. How about you tell them don't do it? How about you tell them the trials and tribulations of jail, PC, all of that? And if you really, if you really want to stand tall, you would change your music overall. You wouldn't even glorify no street music. Of course, we all come, well, I don't want to say we all, but a lot of us come from the inner city. A lot of us come from, crime and all of that. But just because you come from it, that don't mean you got to stay there. You of it, but it's not of you. You move out. You move on. You better yourself in your life for others, especially if you've been through trials and tribulations, because after a while, you just dumb. And I feel like the messages that a lot of these guys send is to send more kids to jail. But we know that that's, like I said, that's systematic. You feed the crime rate. You feed the police. The police feed the courts. The courts feed the jails. The jails feed the products. And if you don't feed the jails, the courts, the products, you feed the morgues. So we have a responsibility and a duty to the youth that's coming behind us to talk about prevention. Yo, stay out of that, man. You don't got to be a part of nobody's street organization. You don't have to show that you tough. Either you tough or you not. And the toughest thing you could do sometimes is say, I don't want to do that, because it's all around you. So that's the tough person. The tough person is the person who has a mind of their own and say, yeah, that's cool. That's what you want to do. But that's not what I want to do. That's not what I got planned for myself. So to Boosie and everybody who talks like him, like I don't follow him. I just feel like some of the conversations that these guys be having just set us back. And then we wonder why the young dudes, we wonder why we got YNs and YGs and the streets is out of control because this is the shit that grown ass men are still acting like it's cool. It ain't cool. It ain't cool to get stabbed. It ain't cool to get shot. It ain't cool to lose your homies. It ain't cool to go to jail. None of that is cool. What cool is being able to provide for yourself and your family without nobody kicking in your door to take you away or nobody kicking in your door to take you out. To be able to sleep at night and knowing that nobody is coming to get you. And if somebody does make an attempt on coming into your home, you can defend your home. But you legal beagle, you don't have to worry about nothing. Listen, when I left all of that former stuff alone that I was a part of, that was like the first time I can say I started sleeping without worried about what I got in the stash, what do I have illegal in the crib. When I stopped being around certain people and being involved in certain things, I was able to walk around free because I know I didn't have no problems because I wasn't guilty by proximity or association. So for Boosie, successful artists, successful people, please stop acting like it's cool for these little dudes, these grown ass babies to partake in that life because it ain't cool. It's over. Let's start acting like it. Let's let them know, yo, I've been on YouTube for 20 years. I amassed a lot of money. Me personally, and I'm going to speak about myself, I've never had an official job in my life where somebody was able or had to tell me what to do. I've always been self employed. And I can tell the young dudes, yo, step one, step two, step three, step four. But we need more of me talking than him talking. So that's why I do what I do. That's why I say what I say sometimes because I get tired. But of course, I'm not gonna have the big platform to speak like he will because ignorance is infectious and it sells, and everybody likes low vibrational ignorant shit. Now we all could dwell down there sometimes, but for the most part, I'm not telling no little dudes to get put on to no gang. I'm not telling them F this, F that. Yo, you don't gotta do this and you don't have to do that because it is hard in them streets. The streets don't give you nothing. It takes your life, it takes a lot. It takes your mind, it takes your body, it takes your soul. So, to anybody who's watching me right now, don't listen to Boosie. Don't listen to people who think like him. Don't listen to him because there's nothing gonna come from glorifying things that have taken from us as a society, as a community, and as a people. That's why I used to always say, who are your people? Boosie needs like an intervention. Like he's old, but he need like a big brother or something. Like he need a big homie or something like that. Like he needs somebody to tell him, hey, what the hell is wrong with you? Kodak Black is a young man who need guidance. When you older than somebody younger, you guide them. Even if y'all at odds, sometimes you have to be empathetic to somebody younger than you because you've been their age, they never been yours. And when you were their age, look how you might have been thinking. Look how you might have carried it. A lot of these dudes is custies, they do drugs and all that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them are. But you don't know where they at in their life. Just because somebody has success and riches, that don't mean that they don't suffer from substance abuse. That's a whole nother topic. I'm just saying, glorifying the streets and jail and all of that. It's 2026. Like, come on, man. You able to make $1 right now by just pressing 3, 4 buttons on a computer. But you need the right tutelage. You need to sit at somebody's feet who's done it. But for some reason, y'all sit at the feet and glorify people who can't give you nothing, who can't teach you nothing, who can't show you nothing. That's the Boosies. Still trying to show how hoard he is. Anyway, I'm Doggie Diamonds. Let me give you some information real quick. Listen, man, I offer promotional services, and you could promote your brand, your music, and your product across my networks. That's the Doggie Diamonds TV YouTube community, the Doggie Diamonds Instagram stories, the Doggie Diamonds Threads account, and the Doggie Diamonds X account. Also, we have Diamond Tested ENT Facebook and Instagram that's growing. It only costs $100 to post simultaneously. Hit me up on Instagram at Doggie Diamonds. Let's get it in. Yo, I appreciate y'all. Until next time, peace. Listen, and if you click the logo with the circle that's moving, you can subscribe to the channel. Also, check these related videos. And the first pinned comment on this video is something you should watch as well. Until next time, peace. And don't forget, Doggie Diamonds did this.